Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Chaffin, and in today's lesson we are going to take a look at the very beginnings of America's history, and it's going to take us to a place that lots of people wouldn't suspect. Did someone say Europe? Yeah, like right there, basically. Okay. If you said Europe, then you're exactly right. We have to go a few thousand miles away and cross the Atlantic Ocean in order to get to really the place where America began. We also start a super long era in US history known as the colonial era, sometimes known as exploration and colonization. No matter what you call it, everyone agrees it lasted for like 175 years, which is a long time. Everything from who actually settled in North America, what were their ideas, beliefs, and traditions that they brought with them, what did they do to make a living, what were their ideas on government and religion. So we have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Europe was actually a pretty rough place to live before the age of exploration. During the Middle Ages, there were tons of wars, constant plagues, and social tension between rich and poor. It wasn't until after the Middle Ages that Europe entered a time period known as the Renaissance, and this is when life for most Europeans got a lot better. Well, at least not the ones that had, died from the plague. This allowed people to have cheaper food, a better diet, make more money, and own more land. For a time, Europe actually led the world in innovative breakthroughs, including shipbuilding and sailing technologies. Because of this, Europe really started setting its eyes on the rest of the world. Hello, ocean exploration. Now, this next part is where we start seeing some familiar information. Countries like Spain, France, Great Britain, and the Netherlands started exploring the world for many of the same reasons. Yes, I am talking about the 3 Gs, God, gold, and glory. But hey, let's not limit our understanding of the 3 Gs. Instead, let's level up our knowledge and get a more age-appropriate vocabulary in order to describe these topics. Another way of understanding God is instead to use the word religion. Instead of thinking of it simply as gold, let's start thinking about it as wealth. To receive glory means that you're kind of a big deal, so we'll just say that they wanted fame for their country. Besides these 3, there are a couple of other reasons why Europeans started exploring the world as well. One of those was scientific curiosity about the rest of the world. Things like how big are the oceans? What are the size and shapes of the continents? Which led naturally into really one of the final and primary reasons of European exploration, and that was a faster trade route to Asia. Trade by land was long, difficult, and oftentimes dangerous, so a direct sea route would be safer, cheaper, and definitely more reliable. Let's not be fooled though, every single one of these countries were exploring to expand their empire. The word empire is just a fancy way of saying every piece of land or territory that these countries owned and ruled over. Even despite all of the common reasons that they had for exploring, each individual European country had its own unique reasons why it wanted to explore the world and colonize North America. We'll go over the big 3 that we need to know. Specifically, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain used colonization as a way to effectively spread the Catholic religion, and then make converts out of the natives it would encounter in the New World. France, on the other hand, took advantage of the geographic conditions of the new continent, things like tons of forest and cold weather, in order to trap and sell little furry forest animals. Yeah, France was all about the fur trade. And England, well, they're sort of who we're descended from as a country, and they were after something a little bit different. The colonists that came from Great Britain were all about setting up a society that had freedom of religion. We know this is still a big deal today because we've included freedom of religion in our First Amendment. Okay, after taking in all of that info, there are a couple of things you need to walk away knowing today. Number 1, what were the reasons that European countries started exploring the world? And number 2, what specific reasons did Spain, France, and Great Britain have for colonizing North America? If you can answer those 2 questions, then you certainly got the point of today's lesson. All right, there you have it. You've officially been schooled by Mr. Chaffin. Thanks for watching today, and remember, history needs you to keep the story going. Take it easy.